In a kingdom choked by lies, one man rose not with an army, but with the truth. What if you lived in a world where speaking the truth could get you executed? Where the rulers feasted while the people starved? Where a crown was not a symbol of hope, but of fear? And what if, in the heart of that tyranny, a single king rose, not with iron or fire, but with something far more dangerous, the power to speak truth? This is not a fantasy. This is the legend of King Irinder. A man who stood against a corrupt empire. A king who had everything to lose, and yet, dared to fight for the people. And what happened when he uncovered the greatest secret of all? Would change the kingdom forever. If you think one voice can't change the world, you haven't heard his story. Virilia was once beautiful. Rolling green fields. Cities that gleamed like silver. People that laughed freely. But all of that changed when greed took the throne. Over years, the elite carved up the land like a feast. Barons controlled trade. Dukes hoarded grain. The royal court sold justice to the highest bidder. In the villages, people couldn't speak without fear. Children disappeared. Rebels were executed at dawn. And the king? A boy of 19, Irinder, who inherited a throne soaked in blood. He was expected to obey. To stay quiet. To sign papers and smile. But Irinder had a secret. His mother's final words before she died, "You will rule only if you can see the truth they fear." One night, deep in the palace library, he found it, a hidden journal, from his father. And what it revealed, shattered everything. His father hadn't died from illness. He'd been poisoned. And the ones who did it, sat in his own council. The truth was now a weapon. And Irinder wielded it carefully. He couldn't trust anyone, not even his guards. He disguised himself and left the palace at night. In the shadows, he listened. To farmers. To orphans. To widows. He learned the pain his crown had caused. And that's when he met her. Elira. The blind prophetess. She lived in exile, cast out by the court. But she saw more than anyone. "You will break the kingdom," she whispered, but only by speaking what others fear to hear. She introduced him to Kale, a fallen knight. And to Lorne, a master thief. Together, they formed the Circle of Ash, sworn to uncover the rot in the kingdom. They discovered something horrifying. Beneath the capital, in the old mines, children were being forced to dig rare stones used to bribe foreign powers. The mines were run by Baron Vesk, the king's uncle. Irinder publicly exposed the mines. He summoned Vesk to court. Demanded justice. The court laughed in his face. And the next morning, Elira was gone. Only her bloodied shawl remained. But she left behind a parchment, "They fear your words more than your armies." That day, Irinder made a decision. He would no longer rule from the throne. He would rule from the streets. He burned his crown. Rode into the villages. And told the people the truth. Some cheered. Others called him mad. But whispers began to spread, "The king walks with us now." A secret order, the Black Sigil, began hunting him. Paid by the High Lords. They would stop at nothing to silence him. Kale was wounded in an ambush. Lorne was captured. Irinder fled north, to the Frostlands, where the forgotten tribes lived. He begged for aid. They refused. Until an elder said, "Show us you bleed for your people, not your pride." Irinder walked barefoot into the blizzard. 3 days. No fire. No food. When he returned, frostbitten and near death, the tribes bowed. He now had an army. Not of soldiers. But of survivors. And with them, he would march. The capital was fortified. But inside, the people were ready. Irinder's words had spread like fire. The night before the march, a stranger entered his tent. Hooded. Silent. It was Alira. Alive. She had faked her death to escape the black sigil. And she had one message: the final betrayal is not yet revealed. Lorne had turned. Tortured in the dungeons, he gave up everything. And now, he led the black sigil. The battle raged for hours. Steel clashed. Fires roared. Irinder faced Lorne in the throne room. The thief begged for forgiveness. And the king said, "Truth without mercy becomes tyranny. But mercy without truth becomes betrayal." He spared Lorne. Then, standing before the people, he revealed the final truth: the royal treasury had been emptied decades ago. Everything they'd suffered was to fund a secret escape for the noble class. They planned to abandon the kingdom. And leading the plan was Irinder's own father. His death. Not a murder. He had taken poison, out of guilt. The kingdom was free. The lords imprisoned. The people had power. And Irinder? He refused the throne. He returned to the streets. Disappeared from history. Some say he died in the mountains. Others say he still walks the land. But every year, on the night of the uprising, candles light every window. And the children are told. Once, there was a king who ruled not with a sword, but with the truth. Years passed. A council ruled the land, formed by farmers, healers, scholars, warriors. But threats returned. Ambassadors from foreign kingdoms sought to manipulate the people. They demanded a crown. A central ruler. And whispers spread, "Bring back the king." A young girl, Mira, Alira's apprentice, stood before the people saying, "The king gave us power. Are we ready to give it away again?" And then, a letter appeared. Signed only, E. Inside, a new doctrine. A guide. Written by Irinder in exile. Border wars erupt. Old barons return. Mira takes up the mantle, not of queen, but of truth speaker. Guided by Irinder's teachings, she begins training a new generation, the shields of silence. Defenders of peace. Warriors of truth. In a hidden valley, a cloaked elder trains them. No one knows his name. But some say, he once wore a crown. Mira and the shields lead a movement across the continent. Every town, every school, every home, truth becomes law. Mira returns to the palace ruins. She lights a single flame. And reads aloud, "Truth is not an act of war. It is the beginning of peace." And so the story of a king who fought with nothing but truth becomes the story of a world forever changed. This is Beyond the Dream. If this story inspired you, let it live. Comment what truth you carry. And don't miss our next video.